Howie, Howie,
What?
I apologize. What I did was I got nervous. I over prepared for you because you're my hero.
Oh, wow.
No, no, no. I'm going to get into that. What?
But this is the most Jewy thing I've ever been part of.
You have no idea. If you look at my Instagram stats, it goes like this: New York Jews, everyone else. It's literally.
But even without the following, just the way it's like sitting with my uncle at a table. First of all, you open with a monologue with plumbing problems. You tell me that the kitchen costs too much. Then there's an indent in your head. It's like this. You should have a whole platform. It shouldn't be Instagram. You should have TikTok instead of TikTok. It'll be just a Jewish platform for yourself.
Wow, that is so great.
And instead of posting, they're just fetches. You just fetch about something.
It's just fetching. And on Instagram, I am known as the professional complainer. It's what I do. But Brandon, my son is here. I wanted to play a song for you. This is a song I dedicate to you because I want to explain this. Okay, go ahead. Just play this for a second.
All right.
Here we go.
This is quiet.
No, this is it.
Wait.
It's my 19-year-old. He doesn't know how to work an iPhone.
You're asking your son to sing for me?
No,
even more Jewish. Oh.
This is
Oh my God.
everything I would like to be.
Oh.
Are you trying? I'm trying. I'm trying.
Oh
Okay, that's enough.
Oh my God.
So how?
I'm the wind beneath your wings?
Yes, you
oh my
are.
God, that was so touching. And the fact that you have a son who picks up cues like that is just, it's amazing.
Oh, you have no idea what's going on here.
I kind of have an idea. I saw you pan. There's two people sitting in the room. I was going to hold for applause when you introduced me, but then I realized there's really no reason to do that.
Oh, they couldn't be more excited. So here's the deal with our little history, okay?
Right.
So when I was like, 13, like right before this happened, the incident.
Right.
Before the forehead incident.
Right.
The
if people are tuning in, he's not talking about the Holocaust. He's talking about a hockey helmet.
A helmet.
We always get those.
Do you think there's any validity to the helmet affecting a 15-year-old's forehead?
No, but there's somebody who has like how old are you now?
I'm 49.
Okay, so there's somebody that has a 35-year-old hockey helmet that goes, why is it so stretched out? This is an old. You think it has anything to do with Elon Gold? Why is it? When does a hockey helmet get stretched out?
Okay, so wait. So now I'm 14, right? It's the early 80s, right. And I'm watching HBO, and you come on. I never heard of you or anything, and I was so blown away. I had never seen anything like it. Your stand-up was so powerful, and it spoke to me in the goofiest, funniest, and cleverest way. Like, you're the guy who would not only have great jokes, but you'd play with the audience and be like, what do you do? And they would go, nothing. And then without missing a beat, you go, how do you know when you're finished?
My whole act and my whole career is based on a dare. You know that. I don't know if you know that. So in the mid 70s, I'm a goofy, friendless, awkward. Unlike you, I didn't play hockey. And I'm Canadian, which means even less of an outcast. And so I didn't play sports. I didn't dance, so I didn't go to clubs. That was like the height of clubbing. You were in New York, they had Studio 54. I didn't do that. I didn't play basketball. I didn't gamble, so there was no poker game with friends. So I went to this club that opened up called Yuck Yucks. And I go there just to see a show. And Mark Breslin, who's the host, after I see the show, he says, at midnight, we have amateurs. If anybody thinks they can do this, come up and do something. So the people I was sitting with went, you go up. And I went, okay. And I always just say, okay. That's why you have me on your show tonight, because I just always say, okay. So I go, but I do. I always say yes. I don't say no. I'm afraid that I'll miss out on something. So I thought that was going to be the joke. I'm not a comedian. It'll be funny if he goes, ladies and gentlemen, Howie Mandel, and I come out. That'll be the joke. I didn't think it through. So he goes, ladies and gentlemen, Howie Mandel, and I walk out. And then I'm there, and there's no punchline, there's no joke. And then just a fear took over. So I started going, okay. And people were laughing at my nervous energy, and they started giggling, and I'm going, what? Okay. You want to hear something? Did you hear that? And then I put my hands in my pocket, And because I'm a germaphobe, way pre-pandemic, I had the latex gloves in my pocket because I didn't touch shit. And then, so I pulled it on my head and I started breathing and the fingers went up and everybody started laughing. And then I popped it off my head and they applauded. And Mark said, "You got to come back tomorrow." And I went, "Okay." And I just kept coming back and doing it. And I never aspired to be a comedian. I never aspired to make a living at this.
That was your first night on stage. The glove was in your pocket. You took it out and just did that.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
It's nothing, but it's not a real talent. It's just, and my whole act was formed and continues today to be formed out of desperation and nothing planned. I hope you realize I didn't even plan for this show.
No, you shouldn't have. I did, sadly. But Howie, that is a fascinating story. That is incredible. What did you want to be before that night?
I only, I got thrown out of school. I got diagnosed later in life, but I have a lot of mental health issues. I'm anxious and I'm depressed and I have OCD, but I didn't know any of that. My parents were very comforting and loving and everything, but I'm older than you. I've got more than a decade and a half on you. Mm-hmm. And, it was kind of a stigma to say that somebody had mental health issues. So when I got asked to leave school because of behavioral problems, which are funny stories today, but they weren't funny then, I was kind of alone. And then I went into retail. I just wanted to be successful. So I had carpet stores. I'm colorblind. I had carpet stores. I did. I used to sell the shittiest. There were so many ugly homes in Toronto. There was, and I got in trouble with the Better Business Bureau because people would say cheaper, cheaper, cheaper. I remember I showed one guy just a rubber underpad. I said, "This is $2 a yard." I did the whole house in rubber underpad, and he calls me a week later and he goes, "I want to complain because the carpet ripped in the vacuum." And I go, "You don't vacuum rubber carpet." He went, "But it's dirty. What do you do?" I go, "You erase it." And he called the Better Business Bureau. And I was, cited for that. I've always gotten in trouble. I just wanted to be successful. I can't tell you how even today, every day, my wife and I both, we look around and I go, I cannot believe that this is what I do. I can't believe these are the people I meet. I can't believe that this is a job.
That's crazy. Because and the weird thing is, so that makes my whole comedy career, if you can call it that, an accident. Because I started by doing impressions of you and like a few other of my favorite comedians at the time. It was like you and Bobcat and Gilbert Gottfried, Richard Lewis. And I billed myself as the comic who does the comics.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
On my young comedian special, the first big break was a show called Make Me Laugh, but then I did a young comedian special that kind of catapulted me. So the
with
young
Paul Rodriguez and
on my show, no, that was the Detroit Comedy Jam.
Right.
You're talking about. But this is before that. I did a young comedian special on HBO, and we were the young comedians that were going to be seen maybe in the future. It was me, Jerry Seinfeld, Richard Lewis, Harry Anderson, and Maureen Murphy, and it was hosted by the Smothers Brothers at the Roxy. And that's what catapulted me to. But everything has just been an accident.
What happened to those guys?
I don't know. I'm going to Google them after this. I can't, this is my phone, so I can't do that. But my whole career is an accident, and then I started to gain notoriety as a comic. And what do comics do? The next path was sitcoms. So I went and met at MTM and they hired me to do St. Elsewhere. I replaced somebody, do you know who David Paymer is?
Yeah. He's a great actor.
He's a great actor, and he got nominated for an Academy Award for Mr. Saturday Night. So
yes.
Thank God, I wanted him to be. He played Billy Crystal's brother, but he was the original Fiscus. So they hired me. I went in for a general meeting. They said, "Can you act?" I said, "I don't know." And they gave me these sides to read, and it was a medical terminology, which I didn't think was funny. And they said, "We'll see you Monday." And I thought I had another audition. No, they hired me for 6 years. Me and Denzel Washington started on that show, and that's why
I loved that show. I grew up with that show thinking, what is my favorite comedian doing a dramatic show? And then I fell in love with that show too, and your character.
People would bet. At that time there was no email or texting or Instagram. People would write letters and go, "I have a bet with my husband that the guy playing Fiscus is not the same idiot with the glove on his head." So depending on their tone, I would answer however they wanted to.
I've always wanted to ask you this question because, so when I was doing the impression of you, and I would pride myself in writing jokes in the comedian's voice. So here's a joke I always thought, I think Howie would love this joke. It's such a Howie joke. Are you ready?
Give me a second. Yes, there we go.
All right, so I go on stage, I do the whole, all right, okay, what? And then I go, okay, all right, A-E-I-O-U, I-U-O-A-E. I just moved my vowels.
I would have loved that joke.
That would have been a joke. I could have sold to you.
I was so, to me, I did dad jokes before I was a dad.
Right.
Groaners, silliness. That's where I gravitated to. I also became the butt of jokes for other comedians. I can't tell you how many years I was in David Letterman's top 10 list. Comedy is hard. People would.
Yeah, but you were very respected, so I don't even understand that.
No, I was not respected when because I used a lot of props. The comedy community is really tough on each other. We're tough on each other.
Yeah, it's the same with me. If I do an impression, all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, he's a hack. But the truth is,
I wish I had that talent. That is
the truth is, I grew up loving you and Eddie Murphy, who did impressions, and like so many. Billy Crystal was one of my heroes. Also, it's like, if you do impressions, it's just an extra form of entertainment.
First of all, I saw you do me. We've met before. And we talked, and I can't tell you how flattered I am, and I can't tell you how much of a fan I am of yours. And I love this show that you're doing. I hope it goes beyond this.
Oh God, I love you so much. Before you go, can we play 2 quick games with you? Very quick. All right, let's do this, Evan. I prepared this just for you. Okay, first is true or fart. Okay.
True or fart. Okay.
Yeah, so I tell you something about you. If it's true, then you say true. If it's not, instead of like a buzzer, like, you have to, right. But it could be a mouth fart. It could be the other one.
Okay. All right.
True or fart, you get to, before the pandemic, you got together at a Starbucks near you with a bunch of guys, Mendoza, all these great comedians and other non-comedians, and would hang out for hours a day. True or fart?
That's true. Why? But that doesn't seem like an amazing thing that I hung out at Starbucks.
Incredible.
Why is that incredible? Millions of people hang out at Starbucks. Isn't
Not for hours. No, I specifically would hear hours, and I'd be like, but he has a giant career. I have a tiny career. We're talking careers now, not
right.
I have a tiny, you have a giant, and I don't have hours a day to go to Starbucks with my butt.
How do you? But I still have hours today. I mean, I can't go to Starbucks, but what do you fill your day with? I mean, even if I do AGT, AGT, the whole AGT, which premieres this Tuesday on NBC, takes it's 30 days of taping all together. No day starts before 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. If I do maybe 100 or 200 live dates a year. I usually come back the same night. I don't know what there is to do from I get up pretty early.
Yeah.
I don't know what is there to do from 7 o'clock till maybe noon or 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You're really that busy in the morning? And
just literally kibitzing with your buddies. I admire that. You have to understand,
I'm a listener more than a talker. So I would sit with them and I love listening and I love hearing and I love watching. That's more,
so great.
I'm in a business where I talk and I do that, but I'm happier. That's why I love AGT. I love sitting back and being entertained.
And
I was entertained. I've been watching you, and
you're so nice, and you're so damn good at it. Okay, so the other game is.
Wait, that was one question.
No, you did it. True or fart? Do you want to fart?
Oh, there's just one question in that game.
Oh, there's one question. If you want to fart, by all means, but you answered correctly. You said true.
Oh, okay.
That game.
No, I know. I answered. I thought we were playing that game for more than one question.
Oh no,
let's play you or Jewy.
Interesting that you say that, because this game has actually a few questions within the one game. It'll be a minute.
Now I realize why you don't have time in the morning. You are preparing. You got a question. Sometimes you have 2. You're writing things down. I don't have any paperwork. There is no paperwork involved in.
It's all from here with you. Yeah. No, I'm not good enough. So this is Jewish or Jew-y, because I played this with Tiffany Haddish last Thursday.
I watched.
Oh, no, you didn't. It's so. I really am.
I did.
That's nuts. He watches this. Why? All right, wait. It's so fascinating to me. Our friend Jeff Ross, who has the best. I heard you being so kind to him, and I have a joke that this is the second best show on phones because the Insta roast is the best. It's just the best.
Really fun.
So, Jeff has a joke that I love at his act. He goes, I'm Jewish, but I'm not that religious. I go to synagogue twice a year, Christmas and Easter. So I'm always fascinated by the level of Jewishness because I'm a big Jew. I get very Jewy, and some people are just ish and they're not. So if you answer 2 out of 3 of these, we will know if you're Jewish or Jewy or like really, really Jewy. From April 8th of this year to April 16th, did you have any leavened bread?
Did I follow the Passover thing? No, but I had leavened things. I didn't eat any bread.
Okay, you didn't eat any bread.
I hate matzah. I hate matzah.
But you had a bite of it, like at the Seder.
This year I didn't even do a Seder. We were in lockdown. You had a lockdown Seder?
I had a Zoom Seder.
I couldn't do that. I didn't know how to do that. You know, I did. We had a Zoom Seder and we left one box empty for Eliyahu. Did you do that?
Okay, so far that's a no on the first one. So far you're just.
But I'm very Jewy. You want to hear a Jewy thing I did?
Yes.
A real Jewy thing, and this will
better than these 2 horrible follow-ups.
No, I'll do that to other.
No, I want to hear your thing. Go.
But it's not a real thing. I mean, it's not a funny thing, but it's a Jewy thing. So in 1989, I lost my father, and my father was much more observant than I am. But that's what we connected with. You know, I'd go home for the high holidays and go to temple with him, and then. So I wanted to honor him. So I decided, for those that are watching, do you have anybody watching who's not a Jew?
Yes.
But I would say
this is an all-inclusive.
So the whole thing, for a year, when a Jewish person passes away, we do a prayer called Kaddish. So I wanted to do Kaddish for the year.
Good for you.
So, well, thank you. So, but I still wanted to do my comedy. So the service, one of the services, is at night.
Yes.
And so I had them write. My agent had to write into my contract that they couldn't start in the summer, like part of the year is summer.
It doesn't get dark till like 9 something, and that's showtime.
So they couldn't start the show before dark. Number one. Number 2, it was in my contract. They had to find me. There's something called a minyan. They had to find me 10 people to do the prayer with. So I traveled. I don't go to just Jewish. I'm in like Ames, Iowa, and the promoter is trying to find
a minyan.
Yeah. So they would drive me before every show. They would drive me. I'd go to a stranger's house to a funeral, and I'd be there. And some people didn't know who I was, and I'm just here. I'll pray with you, and I got to do a comedy show. And then they'd give me a little bag of herring, and I would walk back to the show with my herring. My dressing room always smelled like a filter fish and herring. And in every state, I would have to, and every night I'd have to find, no matter where I was, and I played all over buttfuck America, wherever I was, I had to find 10 Jews or 4 Jews and 6 trees, you know, and do a prayer.
That is the sweetest, funniest story ever. That is incredible that you honored your father with that in the middle of like a concert tour, and you're in Iowa looking for Jewish trees. I love that.
That's Jewy, right? Not Jewish.
That's very Jewy. I'm not even going to do the follow-ups. It's not, that story was worth it. Okay, so I'm going to let you go, but before you go, Howie.
Right.
By the way, show the clip of the glove that what they were talking about, just the picture of it. You also. That was
again, this is the son with the cues?
Now that's my brother-in-law. He's got the cues. The son has the phone.
I was talking about that 10 minutes ago. There I am.
No, I know. That was why they're terrible and they're fired.
That was also the picture from my first, that's my album.
And
that was my first billboard on Sunset. I sold out the Universal Amphitheater in that picture. I was very proud of that.
You know what was near that? Your manager, Sandy Gallen's office, right? Under the billboard.
Remember Sandy? How
yes.
do you remember that? Wow.
Because Sandy was a guy who saw my tape and then invited me to his office, and I felt like I was meeting like the Godfather. He represented you and like Michael Jackson, like the list goes on. I'll never forget this. You're in this story, actually. So I'm sitting there and Sandy's going, when I saw your tape, I thought the same thing as when I saw Howie, Whoopi, Eddie, Dolly. And I'm like, oh, we're as funny as Dolly Parton now. But I was like, it was such a great compliment. He mentioned you. 30 seconds later, his assistant comes in and goes, Sandy, Howie Mandel's on the phone. And he went, put him through. And I went, he's calling you? Howie calls you? Howie Mandel. I was like freaking out. He took the call. I was like, that was really Howie. He's like, he's a client. But, you know, what do you, calm down.
So in that same office, when I sat down with him, he said, what do you want? Like, what are you looking for? Like, why do you want to change? I had another manager before that. And I'm sitting in his office and I said, you know, I'd like to get more acting roles. I'd like to, you know, because I'm a comedian. And he's sitting there and he's looking at me and he's just like sitting there and he's just like this. And I go, my God, this guy is so deep, and he's got to come up with a plan. And then I look even closer, and he's not looking directly at me. He's kind of looking over my shoulder, and I turn around behind me, and it's a mirrored wall. And he's going, and then finally he just goes, "Do you think I should get my cheeks done?"
Wow, you were like, he's got it. He's got the next big Howie idea. And he was staring at his own reflection. By the way, you'll be very proud of the fact that the next call, the assistant comes in and goes, "Lorne's on the phone." And he goes, "Tell Lorne I'll call him back." He took your call, but Lorne Michaels.
Well, you're assuming it was Michaels. How do you know it wasn't Lorne the plumber from the house?
It might have been. It might have been. Okay, so this is the pitch for our TV show, because I want to see you act more, and I have fans that want to see me. I have some failed sitcoms. The one with Pam Anderson, Dennis Green. I've been in a lot of bad things. Yeah, but this is the pitch for me and you to go back to TV together. Are you ready?
Okay, let's do it. What is it?
So it's almost a joke, but it could be something.
Let them who are watching decide whether
Yes, you network executives with your comments, you decide. Okay, so
I love your followers here, because they're going, no, it was Lorne Green. Canadian.
Your by the way, while you were telling this sweet, great story, someone commented, Tiffany Cottish. We have funny people enjoying, two funny people. Okay, so here's the pitch. We could go to NBC with this. So you're having a great life, your success, your family, everything's going great. I show up. I'm the younger brother you never knew about. You didn't know existed, right?
Wow.
And by the way, I'm annoying. I mean, like irritating. Like, you don't know how annoying I am. Like, this is like not even the real level of annoyance that I cause people. So I wreak havoc on you. It gets worse. I want to be a comedian, and you're Howie Mandel. So now I'm like, you got to take me to the clubs. I make can I open for you? And I'm the last thing you want in your life, in your house, on tour with you. But it's me and you. And instead of like Laverne and Shirley, it's Howie and Lonnie. It's Howie and I'm Lonnie. You're Howie.
I know you. I know you are.
No,
I like that idea.
I
always thought there was a show in. Do you know Gallagher?
Yeah, of course.
But you know Gallagher too. Do you know that?
Yes.
But that's that joke, right? Isn't that his brother who he took his act?
Oh, yes. That's the craziest story ever.
And then he got mad at him. He didn't want him to do it anymore. And then sometimes he didn't put the 2 on the billboard. So
right. So now I'm doing the glove.
Right.
I'm doing things. And then also, just like your kids hate me, who should go to NBC, me or you, with this?
Right now, nobody's there. but we should work together. We should do a show. I do love you, and I think you're really talented, and I would love to do something with you.
That is the greatest thing. And
let's continue this conversation. I'm being serious with you. Let's continue this conversation. Figure out. Let's do something. You're a really talented, great guy. And
wow.
I'd love to work with you.
And
I'm flattered by your stories.
No, it's all true, and that meant the world to me. And if we even, God forbid, never get to work together, can I show up to Starbucks one morning for 4 hours with you? Can I do that at least?
Anytime, buddy.
I love you, Howie.
What part of town do you live in?
I'm in Westwood.
I'm in the Valley, but sometimes
I'll schlep over there for you.
All right. Anyway, you're great,
you, buddy.
Thanks
Howie
for having me on.
Bye.
Wow.
My hero, a real hero. Like that's nothing. That's why I'm doing stand-up. It's like that guy, and now he's on my phone. A lot of love is happening. This is unbelievable. We're going to talk to the president for 1 minute, and then we're going to call it a day because we've gone way over. But for my hero, I don't even care about my manager's notes to keep it short. That really was so special to me. You have no idea. That was amazing. Where's the